everybody, welcome back to another video, the T on MPD and relationships. Hello everyone, to all of my new subscribers and new family members, welcome. Hello everyone, and to my tribe and family at large, listen y'all, welcome back. Thank you all so much for coming back and watching another video. Of course, y'all know I love to always mention our Thursday night live stream. Thursday night is where it goes down, y'all. This is where we go from healing to wholeness to boldness, okay? If that's where you want to be, it's from healing to wholeness to boldness. You don't want to miss the Thursday night live stream. This is where it goes down, y'all. Jump in the chat, grab a snack, and come on back and invite some folks to come back with you. And every time, and it's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is our live streams on Thursday nights, all right? And every time we drop a video on the channel, y'all already know what time it is, fam. The goal of the day is 2.1K plus. If you rocks with your girl, hit that like button, hit that like button. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit that like button, hit that like button. Yes, I need you too. Thank you so much, family. Listen, y'all, I'm going to try to make it through this video without sniffling. I've taken my allergy medicine. Yesterday, I rested. So thank you all so much. I'm feeling somewhat better. I'm trying to get back to 100, but I wanted to make sure I jumped on here to say hello to you all today. So let's jump into the topic of this video. I want to talk about it. Why narcissists will not be vulnerable. They will not and they cannot be vulnerable. Actually, what it is that they hate vulnerability. Okay. And I want to talk to you about this subject because it's very important for those of you that are recovering to understand this about narcissists. Narcissists are basically operating out of ego, which is their false self. Okay. Now, understanding the whole dynamic of the false self, what that means is that they're not connected to their true selves. Okay, I'm going to teach you a little bit in this video. They're not connected to their true selves. The true self is where you're connected to your soul, your emotions. I mean, truly connected. It's not a persona. It's not pride. It's not an ego. When you are operating out of true self, that means that you self-identify with self. Okay, let me just put it like that. That means that you self-identify with self. Now, what that also means is that it gives you the ability to take accountability for the things that you may have done wrong. Also, too, what it does is it allows you to be vulnerable, and you're able to be vulnerable because most people that are not disordered like narcissists have empathy. Narcissists are void of empathy. Okay, so that's another reason why they hate vulnerability. Now, what vulnerability does to them, and this is why they hate it so much, and y'all probably seen this, in the relationship with the narcissist. But let me just back up real quick. I want to tell you, this is why in the addictionship with the narcissist, this lack of vulnerability does not allow them to connect with you. Okay. A lot of you experience that thing with the narcissist where you're just like, I just don't feel connected to this individual. I know I did. I had a real bad, I was like, it doesn't matter how much sex you had with them or whatever, you just did not feel connected. And sometimes after, they must have performed like a rock star, in the bedroom, you might have felt connected, but it wasn't a connection. It wasn't a true one. You were just on emotional overload. That dopamine was pumping in your brain and you really thought that, you had made a connection, but you soon found out, within hours later or the next day that, I just didn't, it was just empty. They hate vulnerability. And so that's another reason. That's a reason why you did not connect with them. Also, some of y'all tried to have, deep conversations with these birds. I know I did plenty of times. Tried to, just sit down and reason with them. Like, hey, let's talk about this. Or, you want to talk about something other than surface stuff, because narcissists like to joke around a lot. Okay, that's because they're not connected to their true selves. It's okay to laugh and joke, but Sometimes you need to be able to just rein that in and bring it in. You understand what I'm saying? You need to be able to sit down and have a serious, deep conversation about things. Now, they will have conversations about intellectual things, where it doesn't require them to open themselves up and become vulnerable, right? They will have conversations about, things that, maybe ideas or philosophies in the world or whatever. But anytime you want to start going into an emotional space, or you want to start, talking about something that is going to take them into a place of vulnerability, hold up, stop. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, the reason why they hate vulnerability so much is because it reminds them of their trauma. Yes. Okay. It reminds them of their trauma. This is why they can't be intimate with you. This is why they don't have empathy. It's actually a result of them not having empathy, not because they don't have empathy. It's a result of them not having empathy is why they hate vulnerability, but they are not connected to their true selves. And so it reminds them of their trauma, and it reminds them of the time that they were taken advantage of or traumatized or violated in their childhood. Or, some of them weren't necessarily violated. Some of them were just overparented. They spoiled the narcissist or whatever. And that could be that could actually be considered abuse as well. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what they hate it. And the thing about it with you is that whenever you went into that vulnerable space, and this is why I want y'all to understand this, is because it doesn't matter how vulnerable or how open and honest and genuine you are with a narcissist. They hate you for that. And the more honest and genuine you are, the more they hate you. Because they hate vulnerability, period. They don't want to see it in you. And when you become vulnerable with the narcissist, let me tell you what that translates to them. It translates to them not that you are becoming vulnerable because you feel like they love you and you're in a safe space with a partner that, shares a lot of your same views and a lot of the things that you love, they love. No. They don't see it like that. And they don't see you opening yourself up and being vulnerable as that. What they see it as, this is what these birds see it as. They see it as you're weak. Yeah, that's what they think. They sitting there thinking in your mind, when you're opening up and you're being honest with them and you're having a vulnerable conversation with them and you're saying to them, listen, I want to talk about this because I just really feel like this is something that we need to get into or whatever. And I just want to open myself up. They just sitting there looking at you like, you so stupid, because I'll never open myself up to you. I'll never open myself up to anybody ever again. And you're sitting there like, wow, you got this cold feeling from them when you were trying to really be honest and genuine and vulnerable with them. And they just, it was almost like you were talking to a refrigerator, like a wall, a block of ice. Because what they did in that moment is they shut off everything that had to do with their emotion because they don't want to be pulled into that space. And what it does is it serves as a tool to help them devalue you in the relationship, in the addictionship, right? It serves as a tool that works with that devaluation, right? Because the more you are vulnerable to them, the more you tell them, and the more information you give them, the more tools you give them. Ooh, I'm teaching on today. The more tools you give them to destroy you. And they hate it. They hate vulnerability. They hate the fact that you have it. They hate the fact that you can use it the correct way. They do. But they hate it because it reminds them of their trauma. And whenever you are like that, or whenever you become vulnerable with these birds, you know, this is why I tell y'all, once you find out what you're dealing with, you can't ever go back. Don't try to go back and give them your story. Don't try to, you know, get closure in the situation. Sometimes another person's, and I've said it before, another person's stupidity has to be your closure. It just has to be your closure. Right? Because when you're dealing with a person that has no empathy and no ability to connect to their true selves, you better know that your vulnerability is going to be just walked all over, because they hate it. They hate vulnerability. They don't want to be vulnerable because it brings a tremendous amount of anxiety to them. It reminds them of their trauma. And then not only that, but when they start to think about their trauma, they get the onslaught of shame. Man, that right there. Yo, this is why when you saw them or you tried to go into vulnerable moments, that narcissist went completely cold on you. I mean, just ice cold. But this is why. This is why they don't do vulnerability. And, you know, people say, oh, but there's a vulnerable narcissist out there. No, that's a victimhood narcissist. I know they term it as a vulnerable narcissist, but narcissists don't do vulnerability. They don't. What they'll do is sell you a victimhood story, like most of y'all got a victimhood story, like I got victimhood. You know what I'm saying? But they're not vulnerable, and they hate vulnerability, and they hate it in you, and they hate it because you can actually be that way, because they know they can. They know they can't, and they know that that's a downfall for them. They know that a lot of their relationships will come to an end because they are disordered. At some point, you're going to need to, if you're in a relationship, at some point, you're going to need to be vulnerable. You're going to have to go to a vulnerable space. These birds can't do that. So family, I wanted to get this out here for you. I want you all to really understand this, because some of you all really want closure, and you really want to open up and have a genuine, honest conversation with the narcissist. And you're looking for them to do that as well, because some of y'all might not really be sure that they are narcissists. Maybe y'all think they're just toxic, but a true narcissist is not going to be vulnerable with you, period. They hate it. They hate vulnerability, literally. Okay, family. So I love you all. You all be really good to yourselves. All right. Take really good care of yourselves. I made it through the video without sneezing or coughing. Thank God. So listen, I love you guys. Take really good care of yourselves. And I will see you all on the next video. And I will see you all healed and whole at the top. Shalom, family. Peace.